Hello, and welcome to Spirit Rising. I'm Maryellen.
And I am Minnassa, and I want to let you know that I am feeling some kind of way right now. You see, Mary Ellen's wearing this Ravenclaw shirt. I mean, how could she not be in the best house, Hufflepuff? So, But then, of course, her and my daughter, who are just, Lily is also in Ravenclaw. So it is what it is.
I just realized recently that I was a Ravenclaw, and now I'm very proud to share
Yes,
it.
well, when Lily and I went to Chicago, they have the Harry Potter store there.
Okay.
And I got my Hufflepuff mug.
Nice.
And she got Ravenclaw. And then for Christmas, I told her I wanted one from each house. So now I have all 4 houses.
This helps me actually knowing that you're in Hufflepuff. I didn't know, and yeah, so this is great
Dang,
information.
no wonder she's so strange.
No, not at all. It's like I'm excited now. Like, know more about you.
All right, so here we go. So we have a lot to talk about.
So much.
So let's start with that. We're filming this after the second anniversary celebration of me and the center. As I view it, they said yes to me and I said yes to them, and we had a blast. My request was for summer salads, and that's because y'all don't know how amazing the people are at the center and their food. So I asked for summer salads. And then Saturday, when we were at the farmer's market, I mean, we're out in these streets. We're outside. Luke comes up to me and he's like, I know that you asked for summer salad. I'm like, yes, bring the pork. Because he does an amazing pulled pork, seasoned, smoked. So we had all these healthy summer salads and then some pork. And it was good.
Mm-hmm. It was delicious.
And there was so much stuff. So I got the
eating.
cake. I cut the cake. But there was like a coconut cream pie. I mean, first of all, Raven, my niece,
Wow.
I'm telling you, thank God that food couldn't run away because she was just loving it. So Jody made a broccoli salad that I loved. You made this
Sweet potatoes and broccoli as a moosewood recipe.
and so Raven was chowing hard on that. And then someone made a very yummy orzo salad with like, I want to say lemon, or it was so good. Kathy Kinsman makes this Mediterranean pasta salad with feta and
Yummy.
olives. So it was yum. It was yum. Then Mary Medora did some kind of scientific magic with the watermelon that had like a mint. I was just like, oh my gosh. It's like, I should have wore like a flowing dress instead of a more fitted dress. Like, it's like, yeah. But it was beautiful. And why was that celebration important to me, right? So people say, are you feeling happy about your anniversary? It's like, it's not mine. Right? When you get married, it's not just your anniversary. And to me, like my birthday, I had no control over that. That's my parents' fault, right? And like Thanksgiving and 4th of July, all those things are holidays and are worth celebrating. But for me, I loved my wedding anniversary and this church anniversary because we both said yes to each other. And while we all look good and normal together, there was a time that wasn't the case. I mean, I stepped into that center as a stranger in a way, and they were strangers to me. And so here we go. I spent a week in there, got dragged all around by Mary Ellen and Jody, and Dan fed me and Lily so much food. I mean, there was so much love. Now, the funny thing is, they said, well, we wanted you to come this weekend so you could see if you wanted to be here. And I was like, you should have told me that because we could have signed the paper Friday night. Here, we good. Let's go. Because I was already good. It was just a beautiful celebration, and that for us to continue to say yes, because in the denomination that I came from, you get assigned to your church. They don't pick you. So like the United Methodists have a pastor parish committee. So when the bishop's ready, actually it's probably the bishop, and I can't think I think it's theirs called a district supervisor. They meet with the pastor parish committee and say, this is who we're thinking about sending, and they get right. So in my denomination, it's not like that. So again, the importance of we said yes to each other and we're still saying yes. That's why that celebration meant so much to me, and so much yummy food. And I'll say my last bit about it is that we got to eat in our fellowship hall, which had been used as a nursery, daycare, really. No.
Yeah.
Preschool. And for us to all be down there, it was just wonderful.
Yeah.
It was really wonderful. It was a beautiful celebration. I ate a lot of food and should have wore sweats that day.
Yeah, I want to shout out Meredy Lamantia and Joe as well, because that room and everyone else who helped with the room It was
Yes.
beautiful. They went with the shabby chic motif,
Yes,
and it was so
yes.
artistic
Oh,
and
yes.
colorful
Yes,
and gorgeous.
so if you don't know about Meredith LaMantia, yes, she is a renowned artist, and her aesthetic could be seen through. They had pictures of all my years there together. Again, the shabby chic, the coloring. So Meredith, Lisa Fouts, Leanne Kelly, and Kathy Kinsman were the backbone
Nice.
of that celebration, and I couldn't be more thankful
Yeah,
or
it was
grateful.
awesome.
It was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
That's right. So everyone ate too much food. Not
Yeah.
ate too much. We all ate a lot.
Yeah.
Is it more accurate? We all ate a
went
lot.
back for seconds and
Oh
thirds.
my
and-
gosh. Yes, indeed. So I want to talk about one more thing. You know, we almost weren't here.
Surprise.
Surprise. So someone had asked me my leadership style, and I have often said when I'm willing to be honest, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? Which isn't the best thing, or I'll say like a bulldog. And part of and so I want things done right, the right way, right time. And so when I recognize someone that does that, I go to them again and again and again, right? Without even saying like, do you have time? And so Maryellen became the victim of that. And I don't even use the word victim,
No.
but because you guys don't even know, you don't know how capable this woman is, how just capable is such a minimal word, but I'm just saying, if I give usually if I give someone a task, I'm not quite the micromanager, but I want to know what you're doing. When I hand something to Maryellen, tell me when I'm like done. I trust her in that way, right? But I wasn't communicating that, and all I was communicating is, I need this, I need this, I need. Okay, Maryellen got 2 boys. That eat a lot. No, I'm kidding.
And they do.
I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
Eat a lot.
They do.
Well, again, one's. Did you say, are they both in high school now? No.
Yeah,
Oh.
7th grade and sophomore. So
Correct.
Yeah.
So here,
Yeah.
all these things are happening, and I had totally forgot because again, Maryellen is so well and so capable and so efficient and putting things together that this whole thing was happening with another part of her family. But see, she comes so calm, cool, and collected. But the problem was on me because I was so focused on what I wanted that I never thought to say. So Maryellen, what's going on with you, right? So she got to a place where she's like, you better step back. And we had quite the conversation.
Yeah, we did.
And let me tell you,
Okay.
let me say this, let me say it, look it into my camera. Thank you, Maryellen. I would rather have someone tell me the truth to my face, even if they think it's something I don't want to hear, than go over here and tell someone, or go over in here and tell someone, or be behind my back when they're in their house like, this old bitch. Okay, I don't know if you need to
It's
take,
all right.
I'm just saying. I want to, I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And did it hurt my feelings in a way? Yes.
Yeah.
Only because I realized I had hurt her. And that's where I started to feel bad. Like, oh my God, you're such a jerk to her. Did you even, right? So it was wonderful.
Thank you.
And her parents were thrilled. Like, oh, Maryellen's on my case. She's being just down my case. They're like, oh my God, this is wonderful. I'm just like, where are my friends at? Where are my friends at? Because you two obviously ain't the friends. Well, but it was good. So
It
I'm
was good.
grateful.
I'm grateful too, and it was healthy for me to speak with you, even though I was scared to death, because it's really hard to let someone you love down. And
She wasn't letting me down.
she was so understanding, and so I wouldn't hesitate to do it again. And
I was petrified.
it made our relationship better.
It did.
And, in relationships, you're going to have these things. These things are going to happen in marriages, but you don't leave unless you really need to.
Correct.
If you want the
Correct.
relationship, you got to work on it. So you got to
Correct.
come back together and say,
Correct.
okay, how do we work through this?
Correct.
And that's what happened. And I told you afterwards how much I appreciated how receptive she was and how opening she was. And she just listened to me and she said, okay. And she was just, she was calm.
Petrified.
And I was not. And so it was really helpful. We did have some space in between, which I think helped a lot because I could respond from a better, calmer place. But I knew it was going to be hard for you to hear. And yet you still listened and you didn't get defensive. And so then we both felt bad. But what I learned
I can't be your friend if the only time you can talk to me is when you're saying stuff I want to hear.
That's true.
Just
This is
number
true.
one.
Yeah. Yep. I learned a beautiful thing, that Minnassa is human.
Yes, because I was also having my own meltdown around
Which
my
is
sweet Gail's
exactly
birthday.
why.
So
It's
yeah, it was
exactly
hilarious.
why.
It was
Yeah.
hilarious. But no, I've been
Yeah.
I've been asking
That's all right. Yeah.
over and over
Yeah.
again without saying, are you at capacity? I wasn't without asking. So yeah, Gail's birthday may have been the tip of it.
Phew.
But yeah, I was already at that place. So it was
Yeah.
a good lesson for me. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, it was just helpful for me. I've never had a minister, and I've never had a minister that I cared about and respected and wanted to have a relationship with and loved. And so that's also was healthy for me to be like, oh, Minnassa's a human being. Yes, she's an amazing minister, and she's really, this is hard because it's her wife's birthday, and that's hard for her. So it was helpful for me to not put you on a pedestal, which no one should be on a pedestal. Like,
True.
So anyway, it was good overall.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a great lesson for me that, like, again, you have that, yes, I want things done in a certain way. And when I see someone that has that capacity, and then I can just throw it to them and go to my next thing. But again, that's not fair. And that's what I wasn't thinking about.
Yeah.
And that, yes, Maryellen is also a human.
Yes,
even though
I'm human too.
She presents this amazing, right? She's still human and all the other amazing things about her.
Yeah. So we can always, all of us,
Indeed.
be more compassionate and gentler with each other.
Indeed.
And ourselves.
Indeed.
Yay.
All right, yeah, and that's the whole point about unity, putting your spirituality into practice. That if you are in a place at a church, at a spiritual center, at your job where you cannot disagree,
Yes.
run.
Right. That's really unhealthy. And that's one of the things I was afraid of is, are we going to get to that place where we can't be honest with each other? And we didn't. You were so good. It was great. So if you ever feel like you want to talk to Minnassa, I will tell you that it was scary for me and I did it and she was lovely and we're better off for it.
Indeed.
So do not be afraid. It's okay. You can come to her even with hard things.
Indeed,
And,
I have an open door policy.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, but that's the whole point of relationships. That's the whole point of being in a community. That again, if the only thing you can do in your community is agree with everyone, and there's no room for disagreement, or there's no room for a different place, or there's no room for courageous conversations, you should be careful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I wanted to ask Minnassa about this new kind of theme for the month of August that we're in. Next Level Unlocked. Is it? It's stretch, grow,
So yes,
receive?
stretch, grow, receive. Yes,
Okay.
next level unlocked, stretch, grow, received.
Yeah.
So it's very funny. The congregation really inspired me to that. My last message of the month, we were talking about, are we living up to our words? So they got hit with some very hard conversations. And then the last one was about, how about let's just have some joy? Let's just have some joy, right? In the midst of all the work we're trying to do, can we just have some joy? That, yes, we're saying this is who we are as a center and this is who we are. But in the end, can we have joy? So I spoke on joy. And that message was received so well. And I thought, what is going on? So I sat down and thought about it. And I thought, yes, sometimes we have to celebrate and then enjoy and then look at, this is all these things that maybe challenge me. These are really good things. This is the sign you're on the right track. And so we talked. So I talked about that freedom. That freedom in spirituality is a natural thing. So I asked the band to play Human Nature, and we talked about Wallace D. Wattles, who wrote the book The Science of Getting Rich. That it is our human impulse, which is part of our spirituality, to want to be more, want to have more, because that is that bigger aspect of ourselves coming out, and showed how that's very congruent with the work of Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, and Ralph Waldo Emerson. And you can find that work in many New Thought people. That, yes, because sometimes we bring on our old religion, right? So come to church and be unhappy, but you're going to heaven at the end, right? So if your life is unhappy and you want more, you're selfish and you're greedy, and Jesus died for you, and that's all you need to be about. Look what all your, right? Again, so we have all these in the human race, is consciousness about being poor is holy and being rich is bad, or this is a simple question a person put to me years ago. When were you happiest? When you had money or when you didn't? Say, well, I was happy when right. So no one's saying money buys happiness, but it definitely helps. So again, freedom, wanting more, wanting to expand, that is a natural part of the spiritual journey. But I think from sort of bringing our old religiosity to it, it can become seen as something bad. And so I use the example of the caterpillar going into the cocoon and then becoming the butterfly. Caterpillar's not down there like, oh, I got to check my ego and I need to do my shadow work. No, there is something within it. There comes a point where nature says there's more. There's more for you. You're ready to expand. You're ready to get off this ground and to fly. But the path there isn't like, spring, my wings came out. Right? You go into this cocoon. I mean, have you ever watched? It's like, how does it, the cocoon comes out of the caterpillar? I don't even understand that. Yeah. And then, yes, which I've talked about so many times, then it liquefies in there, which I don't understand that. I get it. Our body's more water than anything else. But it's like, ew. How do you do that? Liquefy. And then out of that liquid, every little butterfly that you love, remember it was caterpillar goo before that. And so talk that freedom is a part of our spiritual journey, and it's something to be celebrated and to hold on to, and yes, expand and grow. That where traditional religion is, this little light of mine. Well, we changed that word to this big light of. We don't have a little light. We have a big light that we are shining, and that is the sort of the compulsion right now at Unity, big or growing, evolving, and then that is a part of the spiritual path.
Freedom to be ourselves.
Yes, freedom to be.
What does that mean to you, and what gets in the way of our freedom to be ourselves?
Well, so one of the things that I think in the United States, like we celebrate the 4th of July or even Juneteenth, and that's freedom from something, freedom from Great Britain, freedom from being enslaved. But what spiritual freedom is freedom to become, right? We're not trying to get rid of something. We're wanting to become more of our best selves. And for me, I mean, this will probably sound very surprising to you, Maryellen, that while people consider me very bold and outgoing and authentic and confident, I still am a recovering people pleaser. And so the biggest thing to be free to become myself is, what will people think? Now, I'm much better at that, but it still happens, like my little septum ring. Now, this is my press-on ring because I don't have enough meat in there. I've told the story. I was telling a lady, yeah, I want to get this septum pierced, and you're laying on a table because she was working with my regular ring, and she just stuck her fingers up my nose, which I have to tell you is the weirdest feeling. It's like people's fingers aren't supposed to be in your nose. Maybe your kids would do that, but it's like, and she goes, you don't have enough meat. Now, she said it in a more professional way, right? But that was the basics of it. And she's like, now, I'll gladly take your money today and pierce you there. She goes, it's never going to heal. She went through all these things. I'm like, that is like of all the places. Yeah. So then years later, recently, I found out you can get your little press on one. I'm like, yeah, but I thought, oh, what would the people at the church think? I show up with my little, they won't know. All they'll say is, she got some kind of piercing. So it was funny when I was on my vacation, they had like a scavenger hunt. And people were coming over like, do you have a book that you turn the page thing down? And so a lady came by. I was, we're all out on the lounge chair like, what are you saying? She says, oh, did any of you have a septum ring? Now, I didn't say anything because technically, but when you wear a clip-on earring, it's still an earring. Right. But I didn't say anything. Like, be honest. So then the next lady came, she looked at me, she goes, you have a septum ring. And she took the picture because you had to, and then another lady came. I'm like, that's right.
Nice.
Right? But still that concern, am I being passionate enough? I mean, I don't know if you noticed that I very seldom wear something casual to church. Yeah. Even though everyone else is dressing it. Exactly. It's just it's like, my ministerial training. Like I said to my niece, oh, well, I was trained as a minister, usually wear navy blue or black, but I wear more colors. And she started busting up. She goes, wear navy blue and black all the time. I'm like, right? So I think there's unconscious things that get in the way also. But free to be. I mean, that's why we have Pride Month. That's why we celebrate Black History Month. That's why we celebrate Women's History Month. That's why we're out at Pride, Bloomington Pride, and we'll be at Pride Fest. That's why I'm on the board of the Front Door, which is the LGBTQ center here. It just opened, yay! Yeah. Because let people be free to be who they are. It's none of your business. If they're in your house robbing you, okay, then it's your business, right? But again, if we could be free. Just like you have two beautiful sons. Did you sit down and teach them how to laugh?
Nope.
Right. It just came out,
Yep.
crying,
Yep.
all of that. That's our
Yeah.
freedom. That's us. And again, that's our old religion. And you say, well, I never went to church in my life, but it's permeate. It's a system. It's permeated. You saw something on TV. You heard something in school. That all those things of that guilt. I was trying to fit this into the message. A song by a word from Beyonce, Church Girl. No one can judge me. I can judge myself. I was born free, but it didn't fit in. So, but what got me thinking about that and this concept, a beautiful woman that I went to high school with, Cindy, may you rest in peace. First husband, she was pregnant. Well, about that 7 month, she wasn't feeling the kicking. And back in the old days, I don't know what they do with you youngins now, but back in the old days, you had a little thing where you were checking it. So they went in and found out that the baby had died. And I don't know what they do. If they gave her a C-section or whatever. I don't mean to say whatever like that, but I can't remember the process because what got in my mind was the man she was married to was Catholic. And his family was concerned because the baby was going to go to hell because the baby hadn't been baptized. And, we're all a bunch of Protestants. We're like, huh?
Right.
Right? Because, again, that concept of original sin, that this little baby that ain't done nothing was born and died and hadn't been baptized and was going to go to hell. So they were having this whole thing, and it was like, right, and that's the thing. I was born free. That those concepts, that I have this original sin, that, something was wrong with me and that, someone has to fix it, that gets into us. And that when we can shake that off and say, I'm free to be myself. And so why don't you share, last week this message was about stretch. So our meditation was a moving meditation by Maryellen.
It was really fun. Thanks for asking me to do that. I always enjoy sharing interplay, and I think it worked really well with the message. It worked for me. I hope it worked for others too. I'm just going to read a couple of these quotes. Most of us want to grow, but we're not trying to be stretched. Yeah, the stretch isn't the obstacle, it's the preparation. Whew. So why do you think we resist the very experiences that might be preparing us for the growth that we say that we want?
I think because, again, and when you leave religion, and people say, well, I'm anti-religion and I'm spiritual. No, those aren't the same thing. You can be anti-religious and not be spiritual at all. But why do we resist that? Because, again, in this spiritual world that we're in, it's all love and light and I'm abundant in all ways, or money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Those are all true, but it doesn't mean there's not, maybe that money comes to you because you need to change your position. Or you've never asked for a raise and you keep getting guided to do it, right? So again, the things you want are coming to you, but if it was for you the way that you are, then it would work, but you're growing and evolving. So then it's going to look a different way. Even I'm sure that you went through this. I remember a boy I went to high school with, his mother told me at the beginning of the summer, she bought him like shoes and literally now this is in the old days when you got out of school in the middle of June. I literally graduated from high school, I think June 20th.
Wow.
I know. So by August 1st, he had outgrown 6 weeks. He had outgrown all those things, right? He had grown.
Yeah.
And so the things that fit him at one time no longer did. And so that is the truth, that as we grow, the things that fit us at this way aren't going to work. And so new clothes, new outfits, a new way of being, all of that is going to stretch.
It made me think about, you said, we're 6 months into the year last month, and, how is it going? And it made me think about kind of the things I was thinking about this year. And one of them, which is so funny to me, at least, funny and sad, is that I wanted to claim no drama for the year, which is so hilarious, because guess what reality did? And it went bam. It gave me all the drama. So it's been a really hard, interesting, complicated year.
But I will say, in the things that you shared for me, you chose the non-drama route. You can't control what other people do.
Yeah.
But you can say, I'm going to remove myself from the drama in this way. So
yeah.
Kudos.
Thank you. And that message was so helpful, especially the image of the tent being stretched and the poles.
Yes.
And so life is creating this larger capacity for ourselves if we can see it, and if we can embrace it and say, oh, there is a lot of drama and it's going to keep happening. It's not going to stop ever. But yes, you're right. I can create that capacity for myself to stay grounded and to stay, somewhat emotionally regulated, or at least take breaks or vent when I need to. But that I'm being stretched for these purposes. Yeah, that felt so meaningful and affirming.
Yeah, so Maryellen's referring to I used a text from the sacred text of Judaism where the prophet Isaiah is encouraging people to stretch their tent, strengthen the cords, make more room. Because yes, you need that bigger capacity. You want more love in your life. You want to be in a loving relationship. And Jaylen Brown of the 76ers, if you're watching this, my daughter's ready.
We love you, Jaylen.
Yeah, we love you, Jaylen. Yes. He saw Donovan. So aside for a minute, he saw Donovan Mitchell and Coco Jones get married.
Oh.
And he's been very, not hard-hearted, but, these NBA players need to be careful anyway. He said that it made him want to be open. Right? So again, then he could have just had it in his mind, but he said it out loud. Again, that's how you make room. You speak what you want. You have that confidence in yourself. So they said DM him. I'm like, Lily.
Yeah.
She's tall, she's smart, she's creative.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yes.
okay. But again, that whole concept to stretch out your tent. Or we talked about new wine and old wineskins. That same capacity that the new you want to bring, the new that is happening in you is not fit for what you did before. And that's the stretching. Can you let it go? Can you move in a different direction? Can you see it, the hangman from the tarot? Can you look at it from a different perspective? That is the stretching.
And it's powerful because then it's not, oh, all this stuff is happening to me. It's like, oh, it's happening for me. Oh, thank you.
Yes, and congratulate yourself because
Yeah.
the divinity within you is hearing and it's saying, yes, 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 let's do this. Because so Maryellen and I are better people from what we shared. And that means the next time we have some kind of similar conflict, we have the skills to deal with that, and then we'll make those other people better.
Right.
And so it has it's sowing seeds. It has a domino effect.
And I think that we need that to be together with other people in community. And it's so important to me. And I think about why in the world do I do this? Why do I volunteer? Why am I part of things? Because I want to be with other people. And there's so many bad examples of that in the world. But we're all intentionally saying, let's not do that. Let's do something else. Let's work together. And that doesn't mean we're going to do it right every time.
Correct.
But we are all on the same journey to unity. And if we have that at the center as our guiding principle, then, we'll be all right.
And this is all new. This is not what any of us were raised with.
Right. Yep.
So this is all new territory. And how do I learn it? How do I live it? I didn't see that. And so to be gracious with ourselves. Yes, this path of evolution, this path of walking into our greater yet to be, this is a new path. And yes, you may not have seen many people do it before, so sometimes it is going to feel scary, or you're not going to feel resourced, or you're not going to feel seen. Check within, and then maybe instead of taking that bigger step, just take a baby step, and you say, oh, okay, here's the support right here. And yes, it is beautiful. Talking about being at the farmer's market. When Luke and Leanne brought that up at the board meeting, I was thrilled. Yes, let's get out the center so people can find out about us. And then Carol, so we had a little plan to do it on the free thing, and Carol went, it's like, no, we're gonna pay and get it. It's like, that's right. Right. And then when Leanne said, hey, who wants to volunteer, she was swarmed with people who want to go out and represent our center. But okay, well, what do your friends see you out there? Right? Again, this is about, are you willing to be uncomfortable? Because people say, well, you guys don't believe in Jesus, y'all are like a cult or a heretic, right? Somebody come out with that. You can say, well, if that's how you feel, I want you to continue safe where you're at. But if you're open to something different, come with us, right? Easy to say that. And so, yes, we outside. Let's get outside. And I just see more and more opportunities. We sowed that seed with what we did with, I never get the name right. All right, New Hope for Families.
That's
Is
right.
that the right
Yep.
thing? Took care of 2 families the last Christmas is, well, now we have Justin who's working at Shalom Center. Well, now here we have a way to touch again. So it's one thing to be at Pride Fest, right? Rocking our Unity t-shirts and we love you and you're welcome here. And now we got swag this year. I'm gonna let you guys take the stress balls. I held it back from the farmers market, but yeah, again, so here we're here in this place, but that's easy to do, right? Pay for the thing, bring the table, but can we go to a place where not everyone's expecting us to be? And so I mean, I could not be more proud of this community. It is really walking the talk, or I should say, we are really walking the talk.
Yep.
And that's stretching, and that's growing. You know, even I've updated the way we do our service.
Yep.
Right? Because I felt like, you know, most services where you go to traditional church, you're being acted upon. Right? And so we have the service leader and then me. But I would rather have us invite the energy of community in, invite the energy of the divine in, connect with that. And so we're singing more. Let's change when we transition to prayer and all those things. Let's, right? So that we're in alignment with the energy of what's happening. And I'm just thrilled.
Yeah.
I am just thrilled. This place is, if you don't come to Unity at Bloomington, I don't know what's going on with you. I'm telling you, I'm obviously biased, but it is a very special place. And yes, it hasn't been, I was going to say Guns N' Roses, but that's not that's the group. What is it?
That's
it
funny.
hasn't been a bed of roses. It hasn't been Guns N' Roses. Wild child of mine. Right, I don't know. Sweet child of mine. Or whatever, yeah. You stay away, Axl Rose. But,
no, it's not Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, it's a bed of roses. I'll say it has been a bed of roses for the most part, and every once in a while there's a little bit of the thorns.
Yeah.
And that's how life should be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just really willing to grow and evolve. And, you know, I think about all the things, you know, in the first 6 months, you know, I didn't have it on my bingo card that Roy was going to be gone. I mean, it's like, dang, what in the heck, right? But here we were. We came around as a community. You know, they're at the church right now, down in the sewer. We had to give the church a colonoscopy, and when they got in there, it was a hot, ugly mess, right? So now they're down there. So you want to drop $14K on that? No, I want that on my carpet.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Or let's update the bathroom, right? Or let's get these new this and this. You got to go with the flow and be willing. Okay, so that's stretching. So it's good. You know, we have an old building. You got to take care of things. So again, facing reality, we worked that system to make sure that we were doing what was best for the center. That's stretching. And very good. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
There's so many good things. I mean, we haven't even been out that more, and we're having people already just showing up at the center. Well, you know, I was wanting a place that was not so religious, a place where I could be myself, and I saw your thing. Or my friend said, oh, come on to, like, Justin got invited by Amber. Right? So you have all these new people. And it's like, yes, bring your friends. Right? But not because, I'm trying to count numbers, but yes, we want to be a transformative presence. We want to be a loving place. We want to be a healing place.
And we are.
We are.
We can talk about the board retreat at all if we want to.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I was so delighted. I had no idea what to expect. I was invited to a board retreat, and honestly, she can tell you, I was like, really? I was like, that's a Saturday. I'm not sure I want to do that. But you made it fun, and Diane Robinson from Anderson, Indiana,
Unity of Anderson, yes,
was phenomenal. And
awesome.
It was so special to have that space, not to do board stuff, but to do visioning.
Correct.
She asked us what's working well, and where do we see room for improvement? Was that the question?
Yes. What's working well? Which she filled up a paper, and then where we could improve was like half a sheet. So it was good. You're like the thing you brought up. I thought, yes, we don't have a reflection sheet for people who were there. So we have a sheet that's the blue sheet that when you're first Sunday there, please give us your reflections. But we don't have a way for people who aren't new to give us their reflections.
So she shared, how about a suggestion box? And I was like, ding, that's so easy. And it could just be put out there, and then anyone can just share feedback, and we'll just check it once a week. But it was a great idea.
Yeah, so you know, one of the things that where the admin office is, if you put like a little hole there and switched everything around, then you could drop your suggestions in there.
That's true.
Because it wouldn't be
Yeah.
front facing. So yeah, or we could make a box either
Yeah.
way. But yes,
I sort of already bought one.
okay, perfect.
Because I was
It's
so
perfect.
jazzed about I was like,
It
this
was
is great.
it-
We got to get this happening immediately.
It was perfect, and
Yeah.
that's the thing, that even for the board to say, hey, we need someone outside, right? Reverend Diane Robinson from Unity of Anderson is the Great Lakes Unity region, and that's we're not just Unity of Bloomington floating around. We are part of a bigger, for lack of a better word, denomination, organization, and it's divided into regions. And here in the Midwest, we are part of the Great Lakes region, and Reverend Diane is the ministerial rep. And that's how we got her, and she did a phenomenal job. But again, it takes the willingness to stretch, to say we need someone from outside to come and give us a retreat, get us thinking, get us involved. I mean, again, courageous conversations. Am I willing to be uncomfortable? Can I be comfort? I think I have a book by Pima Children. It's comfortable with discomfort, or comfortable with the uncomfortable. Again, right? I think too many of us want to live in the either or world, and that's not it. It's the both and. Even when you look at the yin yang, it's black and white together, and then there's a dot of black and white. Right? Because this is how we work together. It's a synergy. That even what's opposing, right? No one's like, oh my God, night is bad. I wish night never happened. It's just the other side. It's a part of what we need, right? I mean, like those places where they have 24-hour light up in Alaska or whatever. And so, yeah, so go on. So it was great to work together.
Yeah.
She asked us questions.
Then we got to do this really cool visioning exercise by Michael Beckwith with the 4 kind of quadrants. Let's see if I can get these right. The first was, what is the highest...
Yes.
What is the highest good or the highest vision for this center? And it was, let's become quiet and let it come through us. So it wasn't think about this and, so whatever you see, and a lot of people saw different images and just, write those down. And so that was the first quadrant, is what is the highest vision for this? The second was what's in the way. So the second one, what needs to be released for this vision to come to fruition? What needs to be released? Again, images, whatever comes to mind. The third was, what do we need to embody? So what do we need to take on? And the last was...
Maryellen will edit this part in.
There were 4 questions, and they were
Correct.
all big questions.
All while we were being in a meditative
Yes.
state. So it wasn't like get in your brain and think about
Right.
it, which is what you said.
And I thought what was delivered blew me away, because it was such a variety of responses and images, and all of it was true. All of it was, real, and not even necessarily in conflict, but just different. But it was all there, all possible, and just gave me such a love and appreciation and gratitude for this group of people, the 7 of us, who get to do this together. And I think we're in good hands. I don't want to say that necessarily about myself, but
No.
I think our board is really strong.
Well, even like she said, that she was so surprised basically to see you and Luke, because she said, most of the churches are run by old white ladies, right? And silver hair, and I said in that class that in the process that I'm going through to get my Unity ordination, that when I take classes, I am like the youngest person in there. And I'm getting ready to be 63. So, I mean, I'm young, right? But I'm just saying. And so, yes.
I appreciated that too when she was talking about congregations, and that most Unity congregations are old white ladies. And there's nothing wrong with that, and that's all wonderful.
Okay, but that's let me interrupt you for that's true for the AME Church, United Methodist Church, the Lutheran Church, the Presbyterian USA, Southern. Churches are aging because we have a world nowadays where people get stuff right away. So back in the day, you could, your life may be horrible, but if you just believe, see, I can get in that tone, you'll get it in the end. Well, nowadays nobody's waiting till the end. You can get it right here. Boom. I want my food. Click, click. Go to the door. It's right there. I want to buy this. Click, click. go to the door. It's right there, right? So the delayed gratification is not a concept anymore, and that's what many churches operated on. And so my generation and older were used to that. Where these young kids like, I don't get it right now.
It was nice to hear that from her because she has experience in different Unity congregations. And so for her to be like, wow, you guys are not just the board, but I think also the congregation. I think we have a pretty young and up and coming group.
We do. We got that whole group, 30 to 50.
Yeah.
And
Yep. So that also made me think about, we had talked about the last month. You gave a talk, Our Race is Human.
Yes.
And you talked a little bit about what it is like to be a Black minister at Unity. A little bit. And I just thought maybe we could talk more about that because I wanted to hear more about that and your reflections on also going back to this book, My Grandmother's Hands by Resmaa Menakem. I love this book along with the Cracking the Healer's Code by Miller Gross Phillips. Those are my two go-tos. Whenever I'm wondering about something, I just go back and I try to find, something that makes sense or helps me understand what's happening. So I wondered if you could talk about being a Black minister to a predominantly white congregation and what is that like for you and what you might hope that those of us would understand more about where you're coming from, if that makes any sense.
it does. I'm not sure. I'm not sure people. So I'll put it this way. First of all, let me congratulate this community. They had two really nice, well-mannered white women that had applied, and then they got me. And they went with me. Now, one of the other ladies wanted to do it part-time, but they could have been like, oh, yeah, we're trying to stay safe, so we're going to, right? So they had options to work with those other two. And so they chose me. And I told them right away, right? There's no hiding that I'm African American, and I never would. Say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. I love who I am. I told them I was married to a woman, right? So already up front, right? I had a short haircut at that time, right? I wore my hair in a natural style. So all of those things are signals that I'm not much about trying to conform to what this country says the beauty standard is for Black women. And I spoke very from the heart. And this is my understanding, is that many white Americans have minimal contact with Black people.
Yes.
So when they get sort of one in front of them, for lack of a better word, it's like seeing them at the zoo.
Yeah.
Can I touch your hair? No. Can I touch the hair under your arms? You'd be like, what? Right? You'd be like, what are you saying? Why are you even, okay, so, right? So it has been a wonderful experience. I'll tell you why. I had some microaggressions when I first got here, and my thing is I nip it right in the bud. I don't,
Yeah.
And so right away, people had to learn, but it was learning. And then for me, Black folks are raised to be as minimally, we don't want white folks to get too concerned. This is not going to sound nice, and you can edit it out if you want.
Okay.
But the history of angry white people is not good for folks.
Right.
Right? When the white folks get mad, they get guns, they get ropes to lynch, they get the dogs, they get the rifles, right? So it's not good for them to be upset, right? But I also have to let that go. And it's a process. But this community has loved me, and they have accepted me. And I am a Black woman every Sunday I go in there, right? Y'all need to clap on beat, right? That's what I say. Or I'm coming from the Black church, we have call and response. And so I'll say like, good morning. I was like, yeah. It's like, what you say? Right? So that's part of my tradition of who I am. Do I see the people at the congregation as a bunch of white folks? No. Are they all white? Yes. But, again, that's like their parents' fault, right? You say, right? But they are a group of people who are loving and who are growing. I mean, I won't name names, but I was very shocked that one of the people that shared their vision was for the church to be more racially and ethnically diverse. I wouldn't have picked that person to say that.
Me neither.
right? And that's my problem. But again, so this is a community with a big heart. So yes, partially again, so they're not used to having close contact with black people. You have stereotypes about black people. And then I think the real challenge isn't, see, the other thing is that most people aren't used to women in leadership. So let's even go there. They're not used to a woman being in a position of leadership. And so they had to get used to that, and that I know how to lead. Right? I'm not about kumbaya and love and light. I can be that. I feel my face getting very hard right now. But when it comes to the business of the church, I am dead serious. I have a responsibility to do what is best for that center. I have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that I am a good steward of the church's finances, that I have a responsibility to serve that congregation in a way that is empowering, equipping, loving, and challenging, healing, and opens them wide to the blessings of the divine and allowing that to come out. And I take that, I am serious about that. And I don't have much wiggle room about that. Now, how that happens, sure. But I'm like super, super serious. And so I know how to lead. And my title is spiritual leader. So I'm going to lead in that aspect. But to me, that whole building is a spiritual center. So when it comes to the building, I feel that I have a say in that. And not that no one say that I don't, but I'm saying that. So that's already the first challenge. That most people aren't used to a woman in a position of authority, period. Right? And then when you do, many women who have become successful have had to take on male and patriarchal ways of acting. So oftentimes the woman boss is the worst one. Did y'all hear Maryellen? Right?
I heard that.
They are the worst one because they have they have taken away their femininity or that feminine power. I mean, there is the warrior and the healer. There is the wild woman and the contained woman. Again, stop making women or any leader, but women leaders have to be one way or the other. It's a both and. And so that's a challenge for many people. And then I don't think many people who live in this city have had a black person as their supervisor. So again, they're not used to a black person being in authority. So I think that's the real challenge.
Wow.
And that most churches, I know people don't want to hear this, but churches are full of little fiefdoms. People have their little areas of control. Right? I'm going to put my finger in all of them. Because again, I feel like I have a higher calling. One, if some kind of mess happens, and Great Lakes has to get involved, they're not going to come to you and say, Maryellen, what happened? They're going to say, Minnassa, how did this mess happen in your church, right? They're going to ask me. So again, that response there, and that may be my Methodist training. So again, I have this overarching feeling that this responsibility as I serve this community, it's not a heavy burden, but it is a calling. And I'm very serious about that. And I think some people are like, well, you don't have to take it so serious. I there's one person on this planet I answer to, and that's me. And I hold myself to a super, super high standard. And so that can be the challenge of people interact, even with you, right? Like, what in the heck is going on with it, right? Because in my mind, I have these 20 steps, and this is where this is fit. Because again, I'm looking at what is the best for this center. How do I serve my congregation with my biggest heart, but also with my brain? And so those two things, most people aren't used to women in leadership, and they're not used to a black person in leadership. And I think that's the real thing. And then people in churches, every church, have their little fiefdoms. And I'm going to put my finger in all of them. And people want to slap my fingers out, right? So it's a process. It is a process. And then the other thing is that, as I have said many times at the center, we are traditional church escapees, not refugees, because we don't want to go back. So already you have this wild group of people who have escaped, right? So, don't tread on me, right? Don't be trying to chain me down. And that's not what I'm trying to do, but there's got to be some order, right? Let's get get your mom and your dad and Lily, because she has that Capricorn moon, yeah, and Raven, yeah. Let all those earth signs get control of the church, right? Be a different world, right? But the church doesn't just need earth signs. That's why we have Mary, who brought that gorgeous aesthetic, right? That artistic eye. You know, we have Kathy Kinsman, so she's the nice earth sign, the Taurus, right? Lovey, all lovey-dovey, right? Lynn, who brings that Leo. You know, you ever talk with Lynn? Lynn's also kind of, right? That Leo, that energy, right? So we're all needed. And so it's like your family.
Yeah.
And so has it been challenging? Yes, but it's just growing pains.
Yeah.
And then I also have to make sure that I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. Meaning, yes, I'm black and I'm a woman and I'm LGBTQ, but those labels aren't me.
Right.
They describe how I move in the world, but who I am is a silly, silly girl. I'm the daughter of Donna Johnson. I'm Lily's mother. I'm Maryellen's friend. I am confident and loud and boisterous, and I know what I want, and I know how to communicate that, and I'm all those things. You know, and sometimes I'm Tyrannosaurus Rex, and other times I'm a little kitten on the ground, like, meow, meow, help me. And so that has been the challenge. I think the challenge has less been about my ethnicity, even though there were a few microaggressions, and more about how I exercise my power.
Yeah, thank you. That was, I really appreciated hearing that from the person at the board who said, yes, I would love to see more people of color in our community. And that harkens back also to your message about our race is human. Well, how do we at Unity of Bloomington become more of a loving container so that when people do come to us, they feel like they belong and they can be a part of it? And you know, wondering, how many people do you hang out with who don't look just like you?
Correct.
Just that call to that question, you know, is like, help me to look at my life and, you know, who I'm surrounding myself with. And it was hard, though. I want to say that it was hard for me, and it was good. And those are the moments to pay attention. Like, where do I feel like I'm being poked at? And what is that about in me? Which is why I picked up the book again. And if anyone wants to read this book and talk about it with me, I feel like it's such an excellent book. And I found myself in so much, but I wanted to read a passage if you don't mind, because this was really helpful to me. Okay, so this is Resma Menakem, My Grandmother's Hands. This is just this is from page 131. Okay. This brings us to the almost invisible way in which many white progressives discourage black bodies, psyches, and hearts from healing. White progressives are deeply committed to the idea that there is nothing wrong with African Americans, that white and black and red and yellow bodies are born with the exact same potential, and that any differences in academic achievement, social skills, language acquisition, and so on must be entirely the result of social, cultural, familial, and educational influences. Of course, all of these play important roles in any young person's development. But many white progressives have reflexively resisted the evidence that many African Americans are impacted by racialized trauma created by white body supremacy. White progressives have similarly resisted the evidence that a different and also damaging form of historical trauma is passed down through white American bodies. Until each of these manifestations of trauma is mended, it will continue to constrict people's bodies and lives and limit their efforts to grow and heal. So when I read that, I probably read it a few times, but this time it struck home because of the experience. I was like, oh, I'm probably falling into, unfortunately, this trap. One of the things I appreciate so much about his work, because he's a trauma therapist, is that this is multi-generational. It's probably much bigger and much deeper than any of us realizes it. And so when we can know that and see that some of this is residual effect of years and years and years of abuse and horrible things, that when I feel poked, that's the moment to say, where is this coming from? And so see it as a larger, again, a bigger picture, and then what is my responsibility, and how do I want to go forward? So does any of that ring true for you?
You know, the challenge, like, So I don't know how many of you know about Nolan Wells, a young African American man, young boy, really, 18, that just graduated from high school, lives in Mississippi, went on a trip, all white other than him. Well, everyone came back alive but him. Right? So then all these stories about what happened. But see, today's a different world. So in Mississippi, of course, the coroner lady's like, oh, so she couldn't quite say he killed himself, but like somehow he died by his own hand, right? And that what looks like drowning in your lungs could also be drug addiction. So it's like, okay, whatever. Well, when I saw that, I was like, and this will be hard to say out loud, what in the world made him think he was safe to go on a trip? There was a white woman who her and her neighbors had like a little trip, a little stay over, and she's the only one that ended up dead. And my same thought was, what the hell, right? So that's how that trauma is. Like, you should have known better. You knew that wasn't safe. That's again. And so that's that type of trauma. And so now all of a sudden people are questioning, because again, in Mississippi, they're having young black kids or young men and women 25 and under all committing suicide by hanging themselves. Now, if you know anything about lynching, no black person in the South is going to do that. A woman hung up so high in a tree. How could she have done that? Climbed up, and I worked at a hospital where a man tried to kill himself by hanging. Well, his wife found him, right? Even the hangman's noose, there is a science to that, right? So again, so here's that thought. So again, what is happening? We all know about George Floyd. Again, that this police officer thought he had the capacity to control this man's body and to control his life. So that's the sort of thing that's happening. But if you ever take a look at a lynching picture, which they're horrible, that wasn't just to tell the black community something. That tells the white community something too. You want to get in our way? Look what we did. Right? So look, there's children in that picture. And I think, oh my God. Right. They learn right. Don't whatever I was thinking or feeling that was to the contrary, I'm not going to say it out loud. So that's how that trauma gets spread to all of us. That standing there watching that lynching, it taught you. These men in the town got some kind of feeling after church. I was like, what did you listen to in church at the picnic? Again, but this is their fear, their lack of feeling verified in themselves. So we're going to go and kill this black man. It taught every person there, you could be on this list too. Right? So that's the trauma. That's the system. That's what's down inside. And so again, but that's a hard conversation to have. So I will say that, talking about our race is human. So to me, thought a very simple question, who's at your table? If everyone's at your table like you, are you ready for someone not like you to come into the center? Was the question. So when you read white fragility, they say but white progressives don't want to be like the Ku Klux Klan. And so when you say, hey, there's an area where you can grow, what they hear is saying you're a prejudiced, bigoted, horrible person, which is not what's being said. Right. And so again, get defensive. Guilt and shame, where everyone feels guilty and shame for a minute, then say, okay, why am I feeling this way? Oh, because I don't like when this happens, because I feel this kind of way. But yes, there's a bigger work to do. Or, I'm going to take a baby step. I thought I could take this huge step, but right now I'm feeling frightened, so I'll take this baby step, right? So there's a lot more reactions versus, you black people always making stuff about race. Really? What about Jim Crow? Everything is segregated in this country, even the churches. The most segregated hour in this country is 11 a.m., So we didn't make everything about race. That's how this system operates, right? It's I'll see if I can find the thing for you. There's a thing with Peter Griffin from the crazy show.
I love that show.
Family Guy. And for some reason, I don't know why are you a terrorist? And it holds up a thing. Have you seen it? And it's colored. So white, white, lighter. Okay, brown, darker, terrorist. I'll see if I can find the meme and send it to you. Right? Again, so you're talking about systematic things that are so inbred that you wouldn't. So when you're confronted with it, you're like, no, I'm not like that. I'm not bad like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, you are not. But let's talk about it. And that's where it becomes a challenge. So yes, our race is human. Are you ready for folks who don't look like you? This is the whole thing. Where is your consciousness? That's what unity and what New Thought is about. Where is your consciousness? If you're always having trouble in your health, let's check your consciousness. Maybe you don't believe that you deserve to have a healthy life, or people have told you, well, you know, people in our family, we all get sick at a certain time. And even though you didn't write it down, it got in here. And then when Aunt so-and-so at 30 died, you go, yeah, our family's not healthy. And then, you know, cousin so-and-so, you go, right. So now in the mind, you're hearing that your consciousness is saying, yeah, we're not healthy. We are always sick. We're right. And so that's so in that consciousness of, you know, if you're a true spiritual person, you know, you don't care about money. And so when you start caring about your money, you say, I'm not spiritual. It's my ego trying to control me. Okay, again, check the streaming, right? I was going to say check the tape. Check the tape or the CD or the DVD or the streaming, right? So again, there's unconscious things happening that are driving, right?
Yeah.
So I'll share this. This may make me sound like a bad person, but when I drive down Walnut and I go by the Shalom Center, I check to make sure my door is locked. Right? Because I've had a homeless person open my door before. And it was like, right? So you say, well, every time I see a black man walk by, I hold my purse closer, right? You say, oh my God, I'm a bad person. No, there's something systematic.
Totally.
It's unconscious, so don't say, why do I feel that? Right? So all those things. So, and those are conversations like cracking the healer's curve, which is the sweetest way to even talk about these issues.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And it's real and it's okay. We're on a journey. I'm on a journey, and I probably will be on this until my last breath. And I'm going to mess up, and I'm going to have thoughts in my head and be like, wait a second, Maryellen, you know, and that's all right. And if anyone ever wants to talk about race and racism and race in unity, I'm open to it, because I think that we can get there. We're probably not there yet, but it's a journey, and we should consciously be on it together. If we do want more diversity in our congregation, and for people to really feel welcome and belonging, because that is what we say. And so to put that into practice requires some stretch and some
there you go.
growth.
Now we come
and,
back to the next level unlocked. That's part of the reason I felt inspired. I felt like, wow, we've done a lot of work together. I think we really are at this next level. Let's unlock it. You know, is Lily, I don't know, Lily ever talked to you about her crazy game Elden Ring?
No.
Oh my Lord, she gets killed in the game all the time. But what happens is next level unlocked. Same with Mario Kart. Or when you get to that next level, the stuff is harder. Right? That what you did, you know, I play Pokemon, the first little Pokemon you catch, they're like level 1, level 5, and as you go, they get harder. You have to be able to have a different fighting strategy. You got to, and then then you're fighting these like legendary Pokemon that are like super powerful. They're from outer space almost, right? So the next level, it got harder and harder. And you know, that's what true. I think a lot of people don't realize is that yes, the next level of your growth is harder. It was harder to crawl, then it got harder to walk, then it got harder to run. But that's just how it is. Yep. And that yes, as we grow in the traditional scriptures, it says we grow from glory to glory. That's right. We just got here. And so that top of the mountain, you know, it's like being a senior in high school, and then boom, you're at the bottom again. But, you know, all those years you got all the way up to the top, and then boom. But all that means is you're getting ready to go to the top again. Right? And that the valley between the mountaintops is the time to rest, reflect, get your tools, see where you can, I don't want to say improve, but enhance yourself. So, right? Because the last journey was really hard. So, you know, this time, take an extra thing of water, have an extra backpack, have an extra pair of underwear, right? All those things. And then you get to that mountaintop again, and you enjoy it, and you're back in the valley again. How can I equip myself to be better? But it's all from glory to glory. So this country right now, sometimes I'm nervous, but I'm like, yeah, let's bring it up. Let's see I think people don't want to look at the ugly of things. You know, that's Shira on Sunday, she was wearing makeup. And of course, I wear makeup on Sundays. And so I said, well, we'll do Hollywood Kiss. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's cute.
Right? That's how, you know, right? So again, we're used to faking and flexing. And this center is not about that. It's about, and so from glory to glory, we really are going from our best to best to best to best to best. That's what I really feel.
Thank you. What else do you want to talk about, or do you want to talk about the rest of the month, or what you're looking forward to, or anything coming up?
So the rest of the month, we're staying on Next Level Unlocked. So this Sunday, we're talking about growing, and that growing is about your actions. Right? So you say, like, how did you know your son grew? Well, he got bigger, but he could also do something different. So if how old is Christoph?
12 going on 13.
So at 13, if he couldn't do, he's still doing only the stuff he could do at 2 years old. He didn't grow. He got bigger, but he didn't grow. Right? Because the fact that he can do what he can do at 13 means there was growth there, because his actions change. His action is matching where he's at. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about, using the Unity Fifth Principle. To know these truth is not enough. I must live it.
Nice.
And that's what I know.
Good. Anything else you want to talk about, or?
I am very thrilled about the center being at the farmer's market. I know I've said that, but I'm just telling you, to get out, most churches don't even want to get out of their building. And so for us to be outside, showing, it is a wonderful thing. And then coming up, so let's have this conversation. Something that I shy away from, and this is on me, is about talking about finances. All right, because people have told me, even in my, there was a pastor there, I don't know, he needed to raise some crazy amount of money, and he wanted it raised that Sunday. And so literally he stood in front of the church and he told the ushers, lock the doors. Now, of course, the ushers were like, what are you saying? So he said, I said, right? Because obviously he could tell by the fact that none of them moved, because we're not going to lock people in the church. He said, I said, lock the doors. Right? So again, Lucas shared about, he went to a church and the whole message was about raising $40,000, I think more, for a commercial kitchen. I'm like, boy, I'm down with that commercial kitchen. Yeah, right? But again, money, gets all discombobulated in spirituality. And even like Diane said, people always give money to fix the sewer, to get the tech booth, to feed people, but they're not willing to, they don't think about the air conditioning. Okay, but have you been at the center when the air conditioning's not working?
Yeah, no fun.
Right, it's like,
yeah.
Right? So again, I think for myself, I'm going to be more forthright about talking about money. It takes $10,000 a month to run that center. And, so I'm going to be asking people not to give because we need more money, to give because this is the law of reciprocity.
That's right.
When you give and you sow into the center, that money goes out, it comes back in, and it blesses you. And it's a circle of reciprocity. It's about intentional giving. You're intentional. Most people don't just throw on whatever, they go to their closet with their eyes closed, and this is what I'm going to wear. You're intentional about how you dress. You're intentional about what you eat. You're intentional about where you go. You're intentional about even the car you have, right? No one's like, I'm just going to just walk on the dealership and whatever car they want to get. No. And so why then does it make people feel uncomfortable when I want to talk about intentional giving? And giving with the intention of, one, making sure that the center is there for other people, that the AC is on. We have I get paid. Kat gets paid. People feel some kind of way, like, well, don't you be talking about money? Well, what am I? Okay, money. So I'm going to do one of my musings with Minnassa. So that's what we're reimagining the newsletter. This is like the topics all over the place thing. We're reimagining the newsletter, and I'm going to be doing musings, Minnassa's musings, I think, or something like that. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is money. People say, don't you know that money is the root of all evil? You don't know that text. It says the love of money, not that money. And everybody loves money, but this is about you're so devoted to money. And remember, What money meant in those days was different because they didn't always use currency, but you're so interested in making sure you get your coins or you're a piece of this that drives everything you do. That you can't see people for who they are. They're transactional. You can't be in relationships. You can't see your community as a whole because all you're worrying about is where's the money? How can I get the money? You know, grifters and things like that. That's what that's talking about. But money is energy, and it's a beautiful gift. And it takes money to run the center. It takes money to go and get the plumbing. It takes money for that tech booth. But money is one of the easiest ways. By sowing money into the center is one of the easiest way to get a blessing back for yourself. One of the things is give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, pouring over into your bosom. That is the law of reciprocity, right? You take one little seed and plant it. A puny little tree like this doesn't come out, one little apple comes off. That one seed produces a huge harvest. That is the same thing about giving with intentionality. That when I give at the church, and I'm not saying, give until it hurts. Yeah. Don't pay your bills. Don't pay your mom. Okay, I'm not saying any of that, but I'm saying give with the intention of, I am investing. I am sowing into this place. That is a better way to give, and give with an intention. I want to make sure the AC's on. I want to, when we talked about having a fund, that where we don't have to come to the church every time because we say, okay, we've got $25,000 sitting here for repairs right off the bat. We have an emergency fund. Snow knocked the roof off, or straight line winds. We're not coming and not that we're begging, but begging the congregation to say, you know what, we are intentional with our own money. Having it set aside. And so I think that will be a part of the next conversation, because I'm also talking about how we treat our bodies. Again, because in that, we kind of got caught up in the Gnostic mindset where your spiritual self is great, but your body is horrible. So you have those Catholic sects where, they're flagellating themselves and, I'm going to, or high aesthetics. No, aesthetics is not the right word. Where people starve, I'm going to starve myself to show God.
It's aesthetic or something. It's a different
something,
form of aesthetic.
Correct.
Yes.
I'm going to starve myself to show God how. Okay, God don't need that. But again, that you disrespect this very vessel that's going to got you from point A to point Z. And so again, can we honor our bodies as a part of our spirituality? So yes, this thing says I need to rest. Do it. I'm not going to be lazy and take a nap. Okay. Why is that lazy? Again, because here's this spirituality and this American work ethic and this patriarchy and again, so I'm going to be talking about why do we treat our bodies the way that we do? Why do we treat money the way that we do? This myth of the individual in this U.S. Nobody's. I always said even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. Even he wasn't by himself, right? It's like. So those are the things that I will be musing about.
I'm so excited. Both of those topics, I'm in. I can't wait. And wanted to add that there have been times I've come to Unity and I could contribute $5, and that's what I could do. And there have been times when I'm like, I can contribute $500. I've done both of those, and they're both, to me, beautiful because of where I was at in my life.
And you gave with intention.
Right. And it's not a judgment at all. And it's not like there's any value, like the people who can give this are more, that's not how we are at all.
No, it's not. You give from your capacity.
Right.
So if you have a $10,000 capacity, then give from that. If you have a $100 capacity, then give from that. No one's saying, like, I think the bad word at Unity is tithing. Right, to give 10% of your income. Now, I grew up with that, and that yes, it can be hit over your head. But again, that whole tithing concept is about I'm sowing this seed. I'm saying I trust Source to take care of me on my 90%. That I don't need this 100%. I can give this 10% away, and this 90% will be more. That's really the concept of that.
It does come back around. Sunday when I left the center, I felt so good. Like my whole body, everything felt
all
like
that yummy food
on fire, like alive and wonderful and abundant. And that came back to me, I got that. And then I launched back into my crazy life and the rocks and all the things I was dealing with. But thank God. Thank God for Unity as my refuge. Yeah. Worth every penny.
Indeed. So and we're growing because again, most people we're all traditional church escapees. So money was always in some weird way, and we didn't talk about it. And I think I had this conversation at the board retreat that why I do know that pi is 3.14. That has never been helpful to me in my life.
Right.
What I wish I had learned about was relationships, money. How to take care of myself as a person, how to value myself as a person. Say, well, your parents should have taught you that. Well, my parents knew that, but that's not the American way, right? So again, we're in this place of all growing together. So we're all learning these new things about our bodies, new things about what does it mean to be in community, right? Talk about cray family. I got my own.
Yeah.
Right? So we're learning, we're growing, we're taking that next level, and as it unlocks, right, you need a whole new skill set. You don't have to edit out that I said I play Pokemon Go. Everyone knows that about me.
And that the Unity is like a what is it?
Oh, the Unity is a
training ground or something.
we have a Pokestop there, and we're also a gym.
A gym. That's awesome.
It is. Again, joy that here they found this spiritual center and they made it into a gym.
Yeah. And you're welcome. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next time or at Unity of Bloomington.